Hey Pisces, welcome to January. So glad to be here. Happy New Year. If you're new here, I'm Tamil. I'm the founder of Overflow, and every month I channel oracle guidance for the Overflow community at large, which is you, of course. And then we go deeper inside the sanctuary, which is our membership for communion with self and soul family. I'm excited to announce and invite you, if you haven't already seen, my new immersion program. It is a 12-week program called Rebirth. When you join Rebirth, you automatically get access to the sanctuary for all of 2021. So that's really, really exciting. And then, of course, if you're watching this and you're already in the sanctuary, you already know that you can join Rebirth as well at a deeply discounted rate in honor of the investment that you've made in the sanctuary. All right. Wishing well at the bottom of the deck, Pisces, which means that this is probably a really magical time for you, a time where you're invited to dream your wildest and biggest dream. A lot of Fae energy here. And I'm feeling like literally glow up energy, but it feels like something radiating from within you and shining so bright that it's almost like outside of you or beyond, like not beyond your control, because I know that sounds like scary, but it feels like whatever you're creating or whatever you're manifesting takes on an entire, like it's a life of its own. And so to become a neutral observer of that which you're creating, like literally that's the creatrix, that's God creator, that's the feminine. Is like you now birthed this thing and now there it is and it has its own life. So now what? Your strength for the month is solitude, which is probably the way that you'll be able to tap into this creative energy. And if you start to struggle or feel like you're isolated, remember the purpose for this time. It's still winter, of course, as well. So it's still a time of like shedding and stillness. But also there is a level of accessibility to you and to your energy that's shifting as well. And there may be some tweaks that you need to make around that, especially if you're a service provider, to kind of set up for the rest of the year to make sure that you prioritize having this time scheduled for yourself, being more intentional about that. And also I'm feeling like there is an invitation to deeper self-intimacy, but also potentially, even though it says solitude, I'm feeling like letting someone have access to the innermost thoughts that come or that arise after you've had this time to sit and process. So the challenge is the Golden Palace. And it's interesting, the juxtaposition to this like very quaint cottage on an island versus this like huge palace that's on a cliff. And so one of the things that I'm feeling is not to be distracted necessarily by what things look like on the outside. You know better than that. You know that everything isn't what it appears to be. You know that there's always more to this story. You know that just because something's bright and shiny doesn't necessarily mean it has substance or that it's for you. Even if it has a lot of substance and it's beautiful, that doesn't necessarily mean it's for you. So let's see what the book says. And that matters because when you're manifesting and you're wishing something, you can create this because you're Pisces. You can create whatever you want. But is that what you want? And you can only know the answer to that by being in solitude and being in connection to your soul. I am comfortable in my own skin as I detach to replenish my soul. Come to rebirth. Meditation is required when you receive the solitude card as a sign. Empty your mind of superfluous thoughts and allow stillness to flow through your whole being. This is not an advantageous time to ask questions or push forward in any way. Rather, it is a time or a period of a conscious retreat. What's called for now is to step back and take your focus off of your life and your troubles. You'll be surprised by how things sort themselves out once you've replenished your energy by means of a much needed rest and time out. Okay. So don't push, don't force anything. We'll see how that's going to affect some things in the rest of your life as we go deeper into the reading. But let's finish up with your challenge. Let go of your tight hold on what you believe security should look like. Now is the time to conserve your energy and count your blessings. Resist the pull to become miserly. There will be enough money, love, youth, food, and shelter to go around. A mindset of fear and lack will shut off the flow of true abundance. Trust in the tides because the flow always returns from the ebb. Chop wood, carry water, as the Chinese proverb says. Practice faith and the treasure will be revealed. In fact, you'll find it in plain sight. And so if something that you have created or are in the process of creating doesn't necessarily seem like it's as successful as it should have been or could have been, do not take that to heart. Understand that everything has its process. Everything starts somewhere, and you are probably in the process of building foundations for something that you can't even imagine. So let's also read Wishing Well before we go inside the sanctuary. And if rebirth is an alignment for you right now, I definitely still invite you to join the sanctuary. We will close enrollment first week of January, or technically that's the second week because we're already, as I'm recording this, it's Saturday, January 2nd. So the first full week of January, we will close enrollment so that the community can be somewhat of a closed space for the next quarter. So after that, you'll just have to be on the wait list. So if you've been thinking of being in community with us, now's the time. Okay. Desire is the sacred impulse for life. Feel it, but let go of all attachment to ownership. Desire is the most important impulse for creating life. Now you're seeing the relationship between desire and inspiration and sensing that moment of truth when you feel the inception of new life. It is an aha moment when everything makes sense. Perhaps you recognize a soulmate or are conceiving a baby or an idea. The Wishing Well card awakens you to the presence of unseen forces that enable new beginnings. Divine intelligence activates the field of possibilities where new life is co-created in a magical way. Neither you nor anyone else can know how or why this happens. It just does. To that end, you can't control the process of growth. Rather, you must step aside to be a channel for higher forces and relinquish any attachment to how this new creation should appear or when. Form your intention and take action by dropping the coin into the wishing well. It was like wishing well, semicolon. So I was like, well then, but no. Form your intention and take action by dropping the coin into the wishing well. Then trust in spirit. Prepare to be amazed. So I'm excited for you, Pisces. It's interesting because I'm a Pisces moon, and like when you see something or you're like, I know I'm supposed to do this, and like you can see it all at once, but in the physical, it just takes a little bit longer. And so don't worry. It's shifting. You know if it's in alignment and it feels right. So lean into that solitude, into that peace that will impact your level of magnetism and attraction. And you're so magical, so you know how all that goes. So don't doubt yourself. Don't muddy the waters. Take some deep breaths.